In this video, we're going to go over the top 5 problems that we found with a 2014 Mazda 6. This has a 2.5 Sky Active engine. And a little sneak peek here, we have everything from stalling to no start to misfires. There's a lot going on. All 5 problems are under the hood. So sit back and relax and let's get into it. Just FYI, nothing's really that major. So the first problem we're going to talk about is cooling fan module. Now, if you own a Mazda, you're already aware of it, but the good news is it's not a major problem. It just has to do with overheating. Now, don't let it go past and overheat excessively. If you have a gauge, keep an eye on it. If you hear the fans running when they're not supposed to, like you just started your car and your AC is not on, those fans should not be on. If you don't hear them come on after you've been driving for a while, you want to pull over. You don't want to overheat this engine, and it's just a module. And sometimes I heard a little bird tell me that Mazda was kind enough to add a little assistance in the pain of it. So check into that too. Number 2, valve lash adjuster. Now that's hard to say, but I say it anyways. Valve lash adjusters. You can hear them clicking, mostly when the engine's cold. Once it heats up, it goes away. Now that's something to pay attention to. If you have a high mileage Mazda, that's gonna happen. Unless you do proper maintenance. If you do your oil changes every 5,000 to 7,000 miles, keep up with that, don't let it slide. You're gonna get a lot of miles out of this engine and you might never have to replace that valve lash adjuster. Number 3 happens to be if your car starts up and then dies right away. Start, install, start, install. Open the hood and come out to this little guy right here, mass airflow sensor. If you have one of these, which you do, disconnect it. Push down the tab, disconnect it, just like that. If you disconnect that and the car stays running, you just need a mass airflow sensor, which happens to be 1A Auto, sells plenty of these. So go ahead and order yourself one up, install it yourself, plug her in, and go down the road. Number 4, not to be confused with number 3, because the symptoms could be a little bit kind of the same, but they're really not. Number 3, like I said, is a no start. It starts, install, start, install. So it does start, but it stalls constantly. Number 4 happens to be driving down the road and then it slowly dies on you. So you feel everything's normal and then you lose power. And then it might start right up again and take off, and the same thing, you lose power. That has to do with the high pressure fuel pump, which is located on top of the engine. You can't miss it, so it's in front of the driver's side of the engine. It's got the fuel lines going into it. If that is giving you that kind of symptom, more than likely it's gonna be that high pressure fuel pump. So number 5, actually happens to do with an engine code. So your engine light will come on and you're gonna feel, symptom-wise, a slight misfire. It's not always gonna be there. You're gonna just feel like a little bit of a hiccup and then it's just gonna go away. But the light will stay on because once she's on, it's on. And you pull the code, get a little reader, and if it says P0301, that is a misfire in cylinder 1. Now I'm gonna show you real quick right here. You have cylinder 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 1's right here. You want to disconnect that. You can do this yourself. Take that coil out, take that spark plug out, examine it, make sure it doesn't have a crack in it or it's covered in oil or fuel, then transfer it to another cylinder. I would prefer 3 or 4, get it further away from 1, swap the spark plugs, and swap the coils. Reassemble it, now clear that code and road test it again. You're gonna feel it again because it's not going away. But now when the light comes on, if it says 301 still, you're going to eliminate the spark plug and the coil because Mazda does have intermittent injector issues. But you don't want to go right for that injector because maintenance-wise, mileage, coil and spark plugs are going to be a regular thing that you're going to have to change. And you can get those at 1aauto.com. So that is a quick little self-diagnosing that you can do. It's fun, kind of empower yourself. And if it ends up being the injector, well, you can go from there on what you want to do. Through the years, I've noticed Mazda always has a major problem with that rubber hose from the throttle body to the airbox. They rip constantly. I don't know why. Mazda, maybe you should check into that. But if you have a hesitation, a rough idle, sometimes it won't even move. It just shakes like there's no tomorrow. Check that first. It's pretty common. And just easily repair it yourself. So that wraps up our top 5 that we found with this Mazda 6 in this generation. Now, if you have anything to add, please add it to the comments. We'd love to hear what you have to say about this generation Mazda. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe and don't forget to ring that bell because then it turns on all your notifications and you won't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching. It's been 100 years since I've done one of these. Give me a minute. Push down that tab and push down on that tab. Order it up, horse buggy, wagon, US mail, I don't know. More than likely, it's gonna be that high pressure corn fruit corn syrup.